Never had to wait to start a service because of church bells before. This is a new experience for me, but I will tell you, in 1984 and 85, I had a student pulpit. A student pulpit is when you're in rabbinical school, you one weekend a month, you fly somewhere from Cincinnati to someplace where there is a very small Jewish community that can't afford a full-time rabbi, and your job is just to make sure the place doesn't lose its pulse completely. And mine was in Sherman, Texas. It's right up near the Oklahoma border. The synagogue was a one-room, like mobile home kind of thing. Those buildings you see where half is on a truck and then the other half's on the truck behind it. That was the synagogues, one-room synagogue. And it was right next to the high school football stadium. Okay, Now, my friend Lawrence here from Texas, she knows the real religion of Texas is Friday night football. And this little prefab, poorly insulated, one-room shul was, again, right next to the stadium. So almost every week I would say something like, we pause now for moments of silent meditation. Now kicking, number 37, Billy Jones. Like every week. So I actually prefer the church bells. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom and welcome. It's really great to see all of you here. I'm Rabbi Leader. For those of you who do not know me, I hope to get to know all of you. I'm here with the remarkable, amazing, incredible Cantor Gurney and our musicians, who he will introduce later. Yeah. We got Bill Beck on the keyboards, wearing that funky hat. He's only been playing for Wilshire Boulevard Temple for 49 years. So, yeah.
He was a child prodigy. He came to us at the age of 2.
Let's take a minute, a couple of things. First of all, if you have a cell phone, take a look, make sure, even if you're already sure it's on silent, please take a look and power down. All right, next, please take a moment, either in front of you, behind you, to your left or your right, and meet your neighbors. Say hello to each other. Get to know each other. Say Shabbat Shalom.
Not much has changed for you, has it?
No. It was really, it was so grim.
I can't even imagine. I really can't imagine.
It was a few Holocaust survivors and like the dentist and the lawyer and the accountant in town, and that was it.
Good experience, though, no matter what, right?
Yeah. I'll never forget. Well, I'll tell you afterwards. Remind me to tell you afterwards about the guy who chanted Yonah. All right. Okay. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. And let us begin. Hine Matov, page 10.
No COVID restrictions. You're allowed to sing.
Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine Matov, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. And now I want to invite forward all the women of the Goldberg family, Lisa and Mia and Lila, to come on up, and they're going to lead us in the lighting and blessing of the Shabbat candles in honor of Jake's bar mitzvah. Mark, you get the night off. Come on up. Pages 2 and 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light, behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Sometimes it's hard to find the light. And the winds are blowing. Let's all bring the light in. We'll join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We turn to page 24 for this beautiful poem, a Kabbalistic poem, Shalom Aleichem, that imagines each and every Friday evening the angels of Shabbat come to visit us. And there are two angels, in fact, the good angel and an evil angel. And if the good angel sees the house has been prepared for Shabbat, says, may it be again so next week. But if the evil angel sees that the home is not prepared for Shabbat, also says, may it be again so next week. So let's appeal to the good angel now as we join in Shalom Aleichem, page 24. This melody is from a wonderful group in Israel called Nava Tehillah. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Lecha Dodi on page 20, another beautiful poem, this time an acrostic poem. This poem that imagines this love affair between God and the Jewish people, between a bride and a groom, a Sabbath bride. There's something I think about almost every time we get to the last verse of Lecha Dodi, when we rise and face the entrance to the synagogue and bow to welcome, really metaphorically and physically welcome Shabbat into our hearts and our families. And it's a memory that I hope will help us all feel a sense of connectivity during this time when we feel in some ways so disconnected. It was 1982. I was in Jerusalem. I was at Wilshire Boulevard, which Stan and Risa know well, for Kabbalat Shabbat. And I was there with my friend John Schechter, who was the grandson of Solomon Schechter. And we were there with a half a dozen of our camp friends from when we were teenagers. We all happened to be in Jerusalem. Saul Gamron was there, Hillel's son, and we all went to the shul together to welcome Shabbat, and we bowed. And I remember in that moment feeling this deep sense of connection to every Jew in the world who was bowing to welcome Shabbat into his or her heart and family and home. No matter how far apart we may be, there's something so beautiful about Shabbat that brings us all together. So when we get to the last verse, we're going to rise and face the entrance to the patio, to the garden, and we're going to welcome Shabbat and know that when we bow, we're bowing with our Jewish brothers and sisters all over the world who are here with us every bit as much as we are there with them. Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Perfect, that's what I was thinking. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmiyanu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Hashem teveret v'litehila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, so ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orei kumi ori, uri, uri, shir dameri, kevod Adonai alayich niyilach. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala,
b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha ובצהולה תוכם עוני עם סגולה בואי חלה Lecha Dodi Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה.
Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
יתקדש שמי רבה
Amen.
מעל מעריב ארach חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכם וביום אחד ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה
יתברך
וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה
בריחו
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן לעלמה ואמרו
Amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Allow this beautiful, melancholy music to bring us out of the work week and now formally into the peace and tranquility of Shabbat.
Let's turn to page 30. Page 30, you'll see the Maariv Aravim prayer. This is a prayer about something we take for granted, often don't even notice until its rhythm is somehow disturbed, which is the rhythm of nature itself. Day into night, night into day, one season into the next, until it's disrupted somehow. And it's then that we recognize just how beautiful and extraordinary the ordinary truly is. This word for evening, Erev, it comes from a word that also means to mix or to blend, mi'urav, which I've always understood to mean that the night, the evening is never completely black. No matter how dark things may seem, there's always some light folded into that darkness somewhere, somehow. And it's equally true that no matter how bright life might seem for us, there's some darkness scattered about and folded in and mixed in to even the brightest of days. If not our day, then the days of others who might be suffering. My mother used to say sweet and sour cabbage borscht is the most Jewish of all dishes. Because that is life. It is mi'urav. It is the darkness and the light. And we make peace with both. Please join me in the English on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Lo Aleinu Le'olam, Baruch Ata Adonai, Maariv Aravim. Amen.
Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta, al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokbenu kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokbenu kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha. ונשמח, בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממני, אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. We're going to have
Jake's
Jake
gonna
lead us
in
now.
the Haftarah.
Hello. It's on? Should I just go for it? Hello? Oh. What, am I good? Okay. Is it working? Okay. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרת להיות על ידיך ולטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We'll all read together on the facing page 37.
You want me to read it? Okay. Love your
God with every heartbeat, with every breath,
with every conscious act.
Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
Okay.
Micha Mocha, page 40.
חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 43. Why have I chosen this reading for Hashkiveinu, our prayer that asks that we lie down in peace and rise up in peace? I'm not going to be talking about the Torah portion later when I teach a little bit, so I'm going to talk about it now. It's like the rabbi says, before I get started, there are a few things I want to say. This week's Torah portion, Nitzavim, is a Torah portion in which God says to the Jewish people that, this is the covenant I make with you and for all generations to follow. And the rabbis have a big debate about what is the this? Is it just what's in that Torah portion? Is it the entire Torah? And Nachmanides says it's one thing and one thing only, that we're committed to generation after generation after generation as Jews and as human beings, because it applies to all of us. And that's teshuvah. That's the opportunity to change, to turn, to make things better between us and those with whom we've had a falling out, between us and the world, between us and God. That is the this of the covenant between the Jewish people and all people and God. That we are not prisoners of yesterday's ways. We can change. Our relationships can change. And we can all be welcomed home, in a sense. Robert Frost said, home is the place where when you go there, they have to let you in. Home is the place that when you go there, they have to let you in. And this is month of Elul. This is the time when all of us turn toward home again with the faith that the door is always open. Please read with me on page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
join in Vishamru, page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
You take it.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ,
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ויום השביעי שבת, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפק,
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We invite Jake back up to lead us in the Amidah, page 46. Please rise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imehot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Hakota, Rav Oshia, Moriv Hatah, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol Barachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Vorfei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emenato, Mishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'Gevurot, Umaito Melach, Melech Mimli, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ata, L'hachayot HaKol. Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol.
Continue now with the rest of the Amidah silently.
Am I done?
Pages 52 through 62. Let's turn to page 253. As we now try to make some peace with that commingling of what is dark and what is light. This is the Misha Berach, the prayer that we recite on behalf of people we love who are ill. Maybe in body, maybe in spirit, maybe near, maybe far. But however far away, they're also with us. And we want them to know we're with them. And so we sing this Misha Berach prayer. Again, this prayer of connection. In just a moment, we're going to sing with Cantor Gurney. But before we do, if there's someone on whose behalf you would like us to recite the Misha Berach tonight, please just stand, and then when I point to you, go ahead and mention the name or the names, and then be seated again, and then we'll all join together on 253. So please stand if you have a name for the Misha Berach.
bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I want to add to the Misha Berach tonight, Merlot Gadushi, Asher Gadushi, and Sheila Merowitz's aunt. How many of you remember the old children's story about stone soup? Does anybody know that story? Yeah. Okay. Raise your hand if you don't know that story. Okay, so I'm only boring about a third of you, which is pretty good for a rabbi. All right. I'm just going to tell this stone soup story very quickly because it has to do with Psalm 27 that we sing during the month of Elul all the way through Sukkot, called Achad Sha'alti, one thing I ask of you, God. So very quickly, stone soup, this is a very hungry guy, and he knocks on the farmer's door, and the farmer's not a particularly generous person, and he says, I'm hungry, and the farmer says, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. He says, well, all I want is a stone. I just need a stone and some water. And I'm going to make a fire and heat up the water and put a stone in it, and I'm going to make stone soup. This softens the farmer's heart a tiny bit, so he gives him, a stone from the yard and a pot and some water, and the guy makes a fire, starts boiling the water, puts the stone in, starts tasting the boiling water with the stone in it, and the farmer says, how is it? He says, it's delicious. It's delicious. But you know what would make it even better? A carrot. The farmer says, oh, I got a carrot. He brings him a carrot, cuts up the carrot, puts in the soup, tastes again. How is it? Ah, it's delicious. But you know what would be even better? A potato, right? I have a potato. I mean, that's nothing. Brings the potato, lets it boil a little bit. Delicious. But you know what would be really, what would just put this over the top? Just a little bit of chicken. This is, scooch. Well, I happen to have a chicken in the kitchen. And, I'll give you, the feet, the neck, and maybe a thigh. Okay. Boom. There we go. In it goes. It's starting to get that nice, kind of filmy, bubbly yellow on the top. How is it? It's delicious. So just one more thing would be perfect. Some knedlach would be just perfect. This is kind of a new version of the story. So you get the idea, okay? That's stone soup. It's very Jewish. Psalm 27, which after you help me with the lesson tonight, Cantor Gurney's going to sing it. This is a beautiful psalm that we sing during this time of year. And particularly the fourth verse. Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai. I ask just this one thing of you. Okay? Me'et Adonai ota avakesh. I'm asking just this one thing of you, God. Shiviti beveit Adonai, that I can dwell in the house of the Lord. Kol yemei chayai, all the days of my life. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Just a stone. I just want to dwell in your house all the days of my life. Lachazor b'noam Adonai, to see the pleasantness of the Lord. That's two. Ulivaker b'heichalo, and to visit his temple every morning. 3, stone soup. I just ask one thing of you, God. But they're 3. But they're beautiful. I ask one thing of God that I seek. I seek this one thing, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to see the pleasantness of the Lord and to visit his temple or his sanctuary every morning. Somehow the house of the Lord and the sanctuary of the Lord are not the same thing. That I like to think of Heichal Adonai as Heichalo as the entire world. Kol haaretz u'maloo. Everything is God's sanctuary, and yes, there's also a temple. And that's what the psalmist seeks. And this is what we sing this time of year. So my plea to everyone here is to think for a moment. I'm going to give you just a moment to do this. Do we have a handheld mic? No.
I don't think we
Okay,
can,
all
actually,
right.
no.
I'm just going to be loud. I'm double vaxxed. I'd like you to just take a moment and just think. Think as if you are the psalmist. You're the author of the 27th Psalm. Come up with the first two words of this verse. What Steve said was contentment, because there's so much strife, and just to be at peace and content. Yeah, that was my Shabbat message emailed out today, that this is the day every week when we call a peace conference between ambition and soul, between our so contentment, beautiful. Achad sha'alti, contentment. Cami, go ahead, stand up. Be nice and loud. They didn't give me enough cord to get to you.
I only ask one thing, that we all wake up and realize that we have to do our part to fight climate change.
That we all wake up and realize we have to do our part to fight climate change. Yeah. Yep. Talia, stand up. Nice and loud.
To find the balance between being kind and doing self-care.
Being kind to others, you mean? Yes, yes. Between, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's why I wrote that line, between ambition and soul. There's this dichotomous tension between our desire to heal and be healed. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I'd figured that out a long time ago. Yeah. Remind me of your name. Karen, go ahead. Actually, you're close enough.
I am close enough. I ask God to help me remember every day to turn my will and my life over to His care and follow His will for me, because left to my own devices, bad things happen.
Yeah. 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 To remember, yes, who's in charge. Yes. Go ahead, stand up. Tell us your name. Contentment. I am enough. I do enough. I have enough. I do enough, and I am enough. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, you don't have to move the goalpost further and further away.
Steve, we have a person. Were you raising your hand, Eddie?
Oh,
Yes,
come here.
yeah.
Come here. Come here, Lila. Come on up here. If you had one wish, one thing to ask for, what would it be?
Friends and family.
Friends and family. That's so beautiful. And by the way, you see what she did there? Right? Okay. Beautiful. Friends and family. Yeah, Lila, what you said, I think a lot of grown-ups have learned during the pandemic, which is that it's really not what we have, but who we have that matters. And you'd think we would know that. And we all sort of do, but we don't always live that way. That's beautiful.
I would say also something we've learned, not to take anything for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, my father used to say, a bissel is a plotz, a little is a lot, and good is great. Someone asked me more than a year ago now when we were into COVID, what have you learned? And I've learned that, I said I've learned that good is great. It's really true. One or two more? Yeah, please stand up. So what would you ask for if you could ask for one thing? Ah, that's so beautiful. Did you guys hear that?
It's a fantastic donor opportunity.
Oh, no.
It's not a big one.
No. Even I'm not that shameless. Come on. Would you introduce our musicians?
I'd love to. That was a perfect setup, right? As Rabbi Leader mentioned before, Bill Beck on the keyboard, and Bill has been, in fact, the organist at Wilshire Boulevard Temple for, I think it's 48 years, right?
49.
49?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. It's amazing. And hopefully soon we'll all get to, as soon as we can, we'll get to be in the sanctuary so you can actually hear that 4,200 pipe organ. On clarinet and flute and duduk, Leo Shelyapov.
That's a duduk, by the way.
You want to give him a little sample of the duduk, Leo? Leo, is the duduk of Armenian origin?
Armenian, yes.
Like an Armenian
Duduk.
flute something. Right?
It's made of apricot wood.
Wow. The wood of an apricot tree. Wow.
Apricot tree, yes. And it has a double reed. It's a grandfather of oboe.
Wow.
Wow. And Hope Easton on cello. I want to just give him a little, maybe just a little bit of a slow movement of a Bach, unaccompanied Bach partita. Beautiful. Huh?
And
some of us know, Steve, we Midwesterners are very proud people, right? So Hope and I both grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Went to the same high school.
Yeah.
I was long gone before she got there. I want you to know. Rabbi Stanley Davids, right? Different high school, but Cleveland nonetheless, right?
Talia, and Panina, yeah. That cello, by the way, 1776, I believe, correct? Yep. Yeah, it was made in 1776. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, let's do one or two more. Yeah. Oh, the last person said, I didn't repeat it. She said her wish was that she could hear these musicians every Friday night because their music is so beautiful. Good news, you can. Right?
Yes, you can.
We're going to listen now to this Psalm 27, verse 4. Cantor Gurney's going to sing it for us. And there's not a material thing that the psalmist is asking for. Not a single material thing. The psalmist is asking to dwell in God's presence all the days of his life, to see the beauty and the pleasantness of God, and to be a visitor in God's temple every morning. And we do wake up every morning in that temple. Achat sha'alti.
And while Bill is giving the introduction, it's on page 358 at the top, 358 if you want to join. It's an old, simple folk tune, but I'm always struck by the Psalms, and sometimes for different reasons, but this is Psalm 27. This is one of the early Psalms, probably written sometime during the 8th century BCE. That's 3,000 singing these words. Achat shalti meit Adonai otav akesh. Achat shalti meit Adonai otav akesh. Shivti beit Adonai kol yemei chayai lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo. Achat shalti meit Adonai otav akesh. Achat shalti meit Adonai otav akesh.
Well, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Just, it's so beautiful to see all of you and to be here together. I take this for granted a lot less than I used to. Just to be in the presence of people who care and who understand. A couple of quick announcements. And then we're going to continue and conclude our service with Aleinu and Mourner's Kaddish and Kiddush and Motzi. Slichot will be on the 28th. Slichot is the service that is on the Saturday night preceding Rosh Hashanah, usually, unless it's too close, and then it's 2 Saturday nights before. It's going to be online. You just go to the temple's website. 7:15, there'll be study sessions being taught by different rabbis, and at 8:15, the service. And just go to wbtla.org, and it'll be right there. A couple of other things. We are doing a couple of in-person things because they're outside and super safe. I will not be at this one. Paddleboard and prayer with Rabbi Nickerson. Yeah, I'm not a pretty sight.
Not safe.
No, I'm not.
It's COVID safe.
Yeah,
But it's not
yeah,
paddle
that's
safe.
right. And I'm not really a pretty sight in a wetsuit. So we're just going to let Rabbi Nickerson handle that. Paddleboard and prayer with Rabbi Nickerson, Sunday, September 12th at 9:30 a.m. Again, on the website, you can get all the details. And we'll be doing Tashlich on Sunday, September 12th at Will Rogers Beach at 4 o'clock. That's when we symbolically cast our sins into the ocean to sort of begin the new year. Again, wbtla.org. Okay?
And I have one more announcement, if I may, Steve.
Please.
This coming Wednesday evening, I'm really excited about this program. It just kind of fell in my lap as a professor of music, was at UCLA, and he's also a brilliant composer. And it's a part of a larger project, but what he's done essentially is taken the half a dozen or more most prominent high holiday melodies, traditional prayer melodies, and he has created an entire symphony weaving together all of those melodies. And I met with him a month ago and listened to the first 2 movements, and I was weeping to hear this incredible symphony orchestra playing our deep, deep high holiday melodies.
Wow.
I was overwhelmed by it. So this coming Wednesday, I'm going to be in conversation with him online, and you're going to get to be able to hear all the movements of this symphony. He will explain what he was attempting to do, and I think does so with great success, and how this organization who sponsored this project came into being and what they want to do going forward. But it'll be probably just like an hour conversation and listening to this symphony. It's very special.
It's a highbrow mashup, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss it.
Nope.
It's an incredible idea.
Jake, congratulations to you, to your family on your bar mitzvah tomorrow. You did a beautiful job tonight. I'm sure you're going to do just as well tomorrow. It's going to be just as easy. Have no fear, okay? Congratulations. Also, obviously, a thank you again to our musicians. And I want to say, for those of you who've had the opportunity to hear Cantor Gurney for the first time, you realize how special he is and that is. And I have to say, you were like on Vishamru. That was like Ella. I mean, that you were scat singing like.
Well, you know who Ella learned from?
Yosela Rosenblatt.
So, you know, I mean, let's tell the truth.
Anyways, beautiful to be together. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's turn now to page 282, page 282, and we rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו רואים ומשתחווים מודים לפני ערך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You know, I spoke earlier about the commingling of darkness and light, that there's a duality to most things. We tend to oversimplify, but if you look deeply into things, there's most often some kind of duality, some kind of tension between forces. And this is so true of memory. Memory is beautiful, and it really hurts sometimes. It's both. And we feel that when we remember our loved ones who have died. In just a moment, I'm going to be reading the names first of the loved ones of our congregation who have died during this Shloshim, this past 30 days, followed by the names of those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. For those of you who are here during Shloshim or yahrzeit, I'm going to ask that you please rise now. I will then read all the names, and then the rest of us will rise with you, and we'll join together in the Kaddish, which you'll find on page 294. So we begin now with the names of those who have died during this Shloshim. Yes, please stand if you're here for yahrzeit or Shloshim. You're doing the right thing. It helps the rest of us know. It helps the rest of us know what you're feeling tonight and how we can support you. First, the names of those who have died during this past 30 days. Norman Cohen, Joan Levine Eichberg, Edith Fisher, Marvin Frankel, Joyce Friedman, Sandra Geller, Jean Grossman, Howard Levison, Janet Peskin, Virginia Sandler, Jessica Allison Schroeder, Gabriel Weiss, Mimi Wolfen, and Alvin Zapersky. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. Eva Ackerman, Joanne Alfred, Joseph Ansel, Jack Berman, Ann Bernstein, Gabriel Bazar, Shokrola Bina, Anna Julia Bonici DeFerro, Dorothy Kemi Bornstein, Eugene Borson, Sanford Brandt, Billy Burns, Doris Calderon, Linda Jane Cherry, Bernard Cohen, Jean Davidoff, Lawrence Deutsch, Sam Delinko, Robert Eichberg, Frank Filer, Sophie Feldman, Bart Feldmar, Edna Florence, Evelyn Friedman, Elsie Goodman, Maury Grossberg, Betty Lois Halper, Bruce Hockman, Sidney Hoffman, Marion Horn, Anthony Amarco, Marie Kalman, David Harry Karsh, Evelyn Kessler, Frederick Klein, Denise Helen Corman, Vivian Korn, Michael Creven, Solomon, David Kugler, Maurice Lazarus, William Lerner, Harry Levison, Ellis Levy, Esther Levy, Leonard Lindy, Abe Linker, Sam Lippo, Murray Loderman, Sidney Mayer, Eddie Michaels, Bessie Miller-Bodick, Sylvia Oster, Beatrice Polovoy, William Poltak, Thelma Prince, Teresa Rouse, Gustav Rees, Rivian Roberts, Isidore Rosenberg, David Rosenthal, Marv Rosenthal, Miriam Chilson Rothstein, Jorlene Salmonson, Leonard Saxon, Ruth Shapira, Albert Schildkraut, Walter Schoenfeld, Michael Schwartz, Soletta Schwartz, Larry Searman, Jeremy Seidel, Nathan Schaefer, Raquel Shanbrum, Wilford Chauhan, Jacob Silver, Lillian Silver, Millicent Small, Gertrude Snuckle, Marion Tashman, Stephen Tomer, Alice Walker, Rose Wegg, Clifford Weitz, Jack Yablon, Sumner Yaffe, William Young, and Zelda Rubin. Are there any other names to add to Kaddish this evening? We also call to mind those we do not know, but to whom we are deeply grateful, those who have died defending the United States of America and the state of Israel, the innocent victims of senseless violence and terrorism and suffering all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them all as our own as we rise now and join together on page 294 in Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'galau v'zman kari v'imaru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. U'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Stay right where you are, and let's have Jake come on up with his family over to the table. We're going to do Kiddush and Motzi. We have no idea where Lila is, but I wouldn't worry about it. She's with family and friends. Lila, you want to come up here? Come on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, לשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים, ג'ייק. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Sibling Kalapol. Shabbat Shalom.